Hi folks, it's Andy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to this episode of Kendo Video Feedback. We've got two fantastic videos to look at today. If you don't know, this video series is where I take videos or footage that you wonderful channel viewers have sent in to me. We watch it together. And I give you some feedback and hopefully everybody learns something. We've got a grading video and a Shiai video to look at today, so that's going to be fun. We're going to jump to it in just a minute, but before we do, satisfy the YouTube ninjas by liking, sharing, subscribing and leaving a comment that uses the word Kendo. What a brilliant Kendo video, best Kendo channel I've ever seen. Something like that. Leave that comment down below for me and then you will activate the YouTube ninja robots who will go and increase the Kendo population. More importantly than that though, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I put out, don't forget, it's all for free, all right? There's no membership costs, monthly costs, not charging for subtitles, nothing like that. It's all completely free of charge. All you have to do to support it, and here's a real win-win, is shop at KendoStar.com. KendoStar is the best Kendo equipment website ever devised in the history of the human race. Now, of course, I would say that because I own the place. But it's true, okay? It's true, all right? We've got the best kit, best equipment, best quality, and the best service, all right? We're an established brand, especially for the international Kendo population. So shop at KendoStar, and you get the best gear, you get best service, and you get this great channel as well, okay? So shop at KendoStar.com. Right, so first one. Let's have a look. It says... Okay, I don't know if you can remember me. Last time I sent you a video of my first Dan Shinsa in NITO-RYU, and I tried to follow your feedback as best as I could. Okay, great. This time I was taking my second Dan Shinsa on the 8th of December, okay, and I passed. Now to prepare myself for the third Dan in the next 2 years. I need your guidance about this. I have no clue what to do or how to improve myself further as I don't have a picture of myself as third Dan Kendo guy in my mind. So I need direction. Okay. I do NITO for almost 3 years now, but I still don't get a grasp of how to actually NITO-RYU Kendo should be. One thing I don't want to be is being too defensive and waiting to do counter-attack as I'm slow to react, so I try to be more offensive and aggressive, but it's so difficult to do it in one hand. Yeah. Maybe my knowledge of what I NITO is limited. Maybe I'm not worth to do NITO. That's not true. I'm so confused for what to do next. I passed Nidan, but I still feel like I don't know anything. Sorry for ranting. Sorry for my English. Your English is absolutely fine. And there's none of this not worth to do NITO. It's not a case of being worth, you know, worth being able to do it or not. It's about how much effort needs to be done to get you to the place that you want to be, all right? And if you're willing to put that in, then you're worth doing it, isn't it? All right. So don't be like it's not something that you're born with or not, all right? So it's only a short video. You said that it's not the full Shinsa, but let's have a look. All right, this is second Dan Shinsa, and you're doing it in NITOs. It's a little bit unusual. I'm not a NITO player, as you know, but let's have a look. I love the white door. Okay. Okay. Look, your NITO is fine for the most part, all right? The execution of Waza so far is no problem. Looks like you're pretty accurate. You're hitting at a reasonably good time. Now you're doing the NITO. Let's have a look. So you're doing the NITO with the, I don't know which is say NITO, Gyaku NITO, all that sort of stuff. I don't much mind about the terminology. But your NITO is the right hand with the short door and the left hand with the daito, and then your right foot forward. Okay. So, okay. So look, yeah, look, the points that you're hitting and stuff are pretty good. The way you swinging the Shiai stuff, it's no issue. I've got an issue with your kamae in the first place, all right? You see how it's like this sort of shape, like this? So I think your legs are probably too bent this way, and you're sort of hunched over a little bit like this. Do you see what I mean? And I know it's because you've got the Shiai above your head, but you kind of hunched over a bit like that. All right. So what's happening is your attacks, and this isn't specifically for NITO. because the grading criteria are not specific for NITO anyway. But this isn't even just a particular grading specific issue. This is a Kendo specific issue. But if you're striking from this posture, it's entirely from your upper body. Okay, it's entirely from your upper body. So it's going to put more pressure on your upper body, which is doing the one-handed strikes. If you learn to use your lower body better, and what you need to do that is your hips need to come back about 2 inches, yeah, about 5 or 6 centimeters back, yeah, so that you can push forward with your back leg to get a better impact rather than having to use your upper body to do it. It's slower doing that, and you get less impact, and it's not actually correct Kentai no Ichi. So that's the first thing I want you to sort out. It's your kamae. And secondly, your asabaki is not correct. Okay? You're hitting and then walking. Okay? You're hitting and then walking. It's kind of going bam, like this. So it looks sloppy, if that makes sense. It doesn't look neat and cohesive, coherent. And I think that will be a big challenge in terms of third dan. Every day of the week you have nidan. It's no problem for nidan. Looks fine. Okay, so you know the points at which you're hitting, it's all fine. But look, I mean, I'm going to leave it to those 2 main points because they're quite big issues that will make a huge impact to the quality of your kendo. All right. So you see how sort of, in a way, it's easy to see because you've got this beautiful white door. Okay, can you see how the bottom of the door is like coming forward? Because it's like that, it's like leaning back because your hips are too far forward. So from here, you end up doing this. You know what I mean? Your back's not straight, it's curved this way rather than, you know, your shoulders are bunched up this way and your back's sort of curved back a bit like that. All right? So relax the shoulders, push the hips back, straighten the back a little bit, and it'll be a much different experience, I'm sure of it. Probably lower the left heel, the right heel in your case, the back foot heel, lower that, because it's very high, okay? All right, we don't get much of the second touch out, but I don't need it, it's fine. Yeah, you see that this is very high. So the mechanics can't work properly, okay? So they're the 2 things you need to fix, is that in terms of your kamae, push the hips back a little bit, lower the heel so that you're pushing your hips forward when you go to hit. And then after hitting, you have to use a proper asabaki, not just hit and then walk sort of leisurely. Do you know what I mean? Because as I say, it looks sloppy, it doesn't look cohesive, it doesn't look all pulled together, okay? And if you fix those 2 things, you'll have no problem at all with sandan. Absolutely none, all right? And once you get to sandan, you can send me a video then and we'll talk about how you're going to get through yondan because that's another barrier altogether, all right? But we need to fix this stuff first so that we can worry about that later, all right? And get your sandan in the bag first time round, all right? You're very capable of doing it, absolutely, all right? I've got no doubt in my mind that you're very, very capable of getting to the point where you will pass sandan easily over the next couple of years, all right? But you need to focus on those 2 points, all right? Mitori Geiko will help you, all right? Mitori Geiko will help you, all right? Nito shouldn't be that much different from Chudan in lots of areas, all right? So don't dismiss stuff that you see Chudan players do as not applicable to what you're doing. Instead, I want you to look at the best players in the world who invariably do Chudan, yeah, with a single shinai, of course. Look what their kendo looks like and how that can be applied to your NITO-RYU kendo. Not, well, that's not NITO-RYU, so it's not necessarily applicable. Of course, it's not exactly the same, but conceptually, lots of aspects of NITO-RYU and Ito-RYU, it's not Ito-RYU, we don't call it Ito-RYU, but NITO-RYU and Ito Kendo are basically the same, okay? So that's what I want you to do, and you'll have no problem, okay? Good job. Okay, next one. So next one is Shiai video. This says, I recently participated in my country's national tournament, and I've got some clips I'd like to share with you, hopefully to get some feedback. Okay, I've got 2 clips on this. You sent me 3, but I'm only going to look at 2 just for the sake of time. I'm setting my eyes on the WKC 2027 in Tokyo. Great. So I'm wondering which aspect of my Kendo I should focus more on. Here are some clips and some context behind them. This is the semi-finals of the individual division, and I'm white tagged in this match. Okay, fantastic. So you've got quite far. I know you've sent me another one of the finals as well. And then the second match we're going to look at is a Daihyo-sen match of the teams division. So you played as the Daihyo-sen in the Daihyo-sen of your teams match as well. Okay, so I hope to see you in the WKC 27, and so I can thank you personally for the positive impact you've had on me and everyone else in the community. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. So in this first one, you're white. I don't have much context regarding your current level or ability, but let's have a look. All right, so you're this player here. This is a semi-final. Right, stop that. First off, stop this. It's not intimidating or inviting or scary or anything, okay? It's completely, if I was going to say it in Japanese, I'd call it like a jikomanzoku. It's like self-satisfying, all right? It's not intimidating, it's not scary, and it doesn't make you look strong. So I'd just quit that. Okay. I see what you did there, right? I don't mind that attempt at ski. I think it's quite good. So, right, I'll be honest with you, right? Your reluctance to engage with the center line, with the Chushin and the Shiai of your opponent, is weakening your semi. Okay, it's weakening your semi. I know it feels like, you know, oh, maybe they're not going to be able to tell where I'm going to hit or do whatever. But it's not. It makes you look unscary. Okay, you're not scary. You don't feel like if a person does that to me, I'm not changing. I'm not gonna break my kamae. Why would I break my kamae? You don't even have the kind of, you know what I mean. You don't even want to engage in my shinai. So if I just stay in chudan, you can't hit me. Okay, so I want you to engage with their shinai more. See, because this sort of thing happens, right? If you this kote strike came from nowhere, so there's no rationale for it. Okay. Now listen, I'm starting to realize I'm getting quite critical. All right, and I want the best for you, so please let's make that clear. I want the very best for you, and I want you to perform to your best, and I want you to go to the WKC. All right, I want you to go to the WKC. So if you want to do that, these are the things that I'm saying you want to fix. All right. I'm saying this because I want the best for you. This is good. This is good. This sort of thing is good, right? Connecting one strike to the next one. Good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, so you got the order of things wrong here, all right? You're doing the hase, but you're not in the kamae. So it's pointless, yeah? The hase is not like just the show-off thing. All right, so kamae, get close to the distance. Yeah, come on then. That's the message over there as well, right? It's not just, yeah, okay, let's go kind of thing. There's part of that to it, but do you know what I'm saying? Okay, good. Yeah, look, number one, you need to learn to use your shinai more to affect your semi. So that means you have to interact with the shinai, and it doesn't mean just push against it, but you have to use the shinai to engage with their shinai. It's a super important quality of semi. If you just refuse to engage with it, then against the higher level opponents which you'll play in the WKC, you'll struggle. It sort of pervades a lack of confidence as well, like to the shimpan, right? Good. It's bit of tension in your right arm, right hand when you swing, and you need to relax your right hand a little bit. Nice try for Gyakudo. It was a little bit telegraphed though, wasn't it? I'd say the issue with the Gyakudo here was fine, but the time between creating the opportunity and making the strike was just a little bit too long. So you weren't able to fully commit to it. See, the thing is right, if your left hand is controlling the Shiai, for the most part, it tends not to move in big arcs like that. The big circles are coming from your right hand, not your left hand. Kamae is good overall. This is better. This kind of semi is better, but you have the interaction, yeah? And you see you're in a much better position to defend yourself as well. Improving at Hikiwaza would benefit you a lot. Again, I know I'm throwing a lot at you here. Okay. So there's a lot of there's a lot of defense that's kind of like this, where you're defending all right with the Shiai, but your feet remain still. So it puts you at a great sort of deal of danger, because let's say your opponent in this occasion decided to just attack Kote and didn't really, and they committed to it completely, overcommitted to it really. Because if he decided to hit Kote at this point, but then immediately followed up with a men, you'd have probably lost the men strike because you'd be unable to respond to it. Because you'd left him at the hitting distance by staying still with your feet. So you want to, probably best is move forward, just get rid of the distance. Nice men. Let's watch that again. It's good men. Okay, so this happens often. This happens often, where there's a confusion between the yeah, this happens quite a lot. Okay, so I can tell what's happening. It's okay, fine. So this happens often. I'll talk about, right, so look, back to the Shiai. I'll watch the next video in a sec. I know I've thrown a lot at you there, but if you fix those points, like you've clearly got good ability, all right? You're clearly talented and have good sense of when to strike, all right? But what you have to do is you have to learn more about how you can affect your opponent so that you can create the strikes that you want to create, and then they will become ippon that are easy for the referees to award, all right? So you don't end up in this grey area, which is what happens a lot, especially when you start getting into higher competitive levels, start playing in international tournaments, things like the WKC, you start getting into this sort of grey zone of where you hit points which you believe would be ippon maybe in your own country, but at the WKC they don't move for. So what you have to do is you have to raise the quality of the ippon, and the easiest and quickest way to raise the quality of the ippon is to ensure that you make the strikes at fantastic opportunities, preferably that you've created, and that is how to easily get Shimpan to lift the flags for you. So we'll watch the next one in a sec. About this thing that's happened here, what's happened here, right, is that the men's strike happens right at the just before the whistle. So the timekeeper, of course, is making sure they're keeping the time accurately, and as they've gone to press the whistle, Meinari has happened, and they've gone to the whistle, oh, Meinari's happened. So this happens at almost every tournament I go to, outside of Japan, of course, because it's kind of a semi-unusual situation. It's not completely unusual, but it's not a standard situation. But basically what the correct procedure is here, all right, and this is just for people, everybody to know, so that if it happens, if you find yourself on the timekeeping table, whatever, then what happens is, if this happens, P like that, but they've called Ippon, okay, the thing is they can't stop the match without starting it again, all right? So you keep the thing up, they'll go back and they'll say Nihonme or Shobu or whatever, which is to start the match. You'll put the flag down and press the whistle immediately and put it back up, all right? So that so you basically press the whistle again, yeah? Be like that so that the referee can go yam it, okay? That's the procedure on that one, okay? What's the next one? Okay, so this is a Daihyousha-sen. So this is when you have a team match and the scores are perfectly equal. So a representative player from each side has to go and play in a sudden death match of Ippon Shobus. First one to get the point wins. Now, if I remember right, in this one you are the red player, so on the opposite side. So let's have a look. How are you getting on? Okay, so you're bordering on a problem there, all right, in the two things. First off, right, well, I've already talked about you twirling the shinai around, all right, but this kote is clearly not kote, okay? It's clearly not kote, all right? Up to here, you're fine. This second one here, you're not allowed to do, okay? You're not allowed to do that. All right, we're no longer allowed to do the hase in the Tsubazeri proximity, okay? So you would probably get a warning for that as WKC type Shiai. If you did it again, they'd give you a hand soccer, all right? So be aware of that. But as well, there's no point overselling a point that's not there, yeah? It's no point, okay? Good. You would benefit from tying the men a little higher, okay? It's a little bit too low. It looks a little bit like what's called the taco men, all right? So taco in Japanese means octopus, like it looks like a cartoon octopus, right? So what you want to do is try and tie the knot at the height of your eyes so that you can pull the mendare forward a little bit more and it looks more like Mount Fuji. Makes you look a lot stronger, makes your semen more effective. Be super careful of this. Something I tell players all the time. Good to hit the Hikido, right? But you can't get the Hikido Ippon if you hit whilst your hips are turned away like this too much, all right? Bam, you have the hip still pretty much square on, all right? But you're very much side on here, and you can tell when someone's side on when they hit because they look away like this after hitting, okay? So what you're doing by doing this is showing to the Shimpan your intention is no longer towards your opponent and your strike itself was not really correct, all right? So there's no reason at all to turn away from your partner, all right? None whatsoever, okay? So try not to do that. The problem is you had this, you see, here's the thing. Because you did this and you were literally like this and then you saw that they were coming, when you tried to hit again, you had this fantastic chance for a strike. You even hit him, yeah? But it comes from this kind of strange broken posture, so it can't be decisive. If you'd made this Hikido, bam, this way, you'd have been able to get your lower body under you, and this men strike would have been far more impressive and much more likely to get the Shimpan to lift the flags, okay? Much more likely. Good. So this is a great opportunity for Hikimen, but I thought this a little bit in the previous videos. Your Hikimen, yeah, your Hikiwaza needs a bit of work, doesn't it? All right, it needs a little bit of work. So this is something that a lot of people do when they do the Hikiwaza and then struggle with it at this point, and it's fine. But what you're doing here is you're kind of hitting up like this, which you have to do because you have to reach on top of the membuton. But at the point of impact, you have to kind of drop your weight this way rather than this way, right? You have to get your weight into the shinai, your body weight behind your shinai, so you can get the impact, pam, so that it becomes a decisive hikiwaza. So this was a risky moment. So here you needed to return to the kamae faster, okay? Because instead you were very close to receiving the men strike. Now, of course, you moved out of the way, so fine. But it's dangerous. Good. So there's no point doing this. This part here, where you kind of, all right, the extra strike's fine, but then when you start pushing forward onto it, that's not going to help you. There's no good to come of this. All right, there's no good to come of this. All right, just it needs to call stop if it's stuck, or you need to just back off. All right, it starts to look like you're being a bit overly aggressive if you start to push forward, and then you start to get a negative impression on the shimpan. That's the last thing you want. Remember, you have to concentrate to the max, right? And you have to give everything to try and win. But you also must remain sort of coherent in your ability to perceive what's happening, all right? You can't just turn white in your mind and just let everything go. Do you know what I'm saying? You have a responsibility as well to do that, okay? You don't just... It's not an anything no holes barred brawl, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but like you can't let your emotions overwhelm you in that regard. This is a nice chance for the degote. Good timing. Good. Okay, that was a dangerous point, right? That was quite a good kote from your partner there. A little bit deep, so it didn't get the ippon, but it was a dangerous one. You have to watch out for that. And I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why that was a problem for you. Is because your partner is doing what I was saying before you need to do more of, which was he was affecting towards your chushin, and then when he went to hit, you responded to hit. Okay, so he led you into hitting. Now whether they do that consciously or not, it doesn't matter, but you know, they led you into hitting. Okay, so his seme was more effective than yours in this moment. Okay, your attack was just because you felt like hitting. There was no real rationale behind, if you know what I'm saying. It's extremely dangerous. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is unfortunate, right? But what's happened here is it's good that you moved in to defend. That was good. That was good. Well, the problem is you remember when I said about keeping your Shiai focused on towards the opponent and taking the Chushin? What's happened here is you haven't done that. Your Shinai's doing your twirly thing and is down here, and now suddenly you've got to bring it all the way from down here to all the way up here, and you just don't have time. You just don't have time. All right? You just don't have time. So that's that, okay? So the main thing for you, I want you to think about how you're influencing and affecting your opponent. How are you portraying your intention to your opponent, and how are you using that to create the opportunity to strike? All right. If you want to play in the WKC, this is a level you're going to have to think about playing on. All right. You can't just hit kote because you want to hit kote, hit men because you want to hit men. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I was in like 2 or 3 WKC before I realized I had to do any of that. So I'm telling you from my experience that you don't want to go into it like that, right? Because it doesn't work. All right? It doesn't work, right? But if you sort of twirling the Shiai around, this sort of thing, it's not going to work for you, because the opponent's not going to be affected by your semi. All right? So therefore, a point that is easily to be judged as ippon is not going to come from that, unless you happen to be lucky or your opponent happens to be of a kind of significantly lower skill ability than you are. All right. So I really want you to focus on that, and it's about using the left hand to do it. All right. You're doing great. I'm sure you'll make it to WKC because you've got a lot of talent. You're very good. All right. You've got a good sense of how to do Shiai, when to hit, stuff like that. If we can sharpen up those things, no problem. I think you'll do super, super well. So thank you very much for sending the video in. Thank you also for the grading video as well. If you would like me to feature one of your videos in this series, all you have to do is upload the video to YouTube, set it to unlisted, or public if you want, but don't set it to private, and then email the link to me at mail@KendoStar.com. Give me a little bit of context, tell me which one in the video you are, a little bit about what it is that you're entering, and I will cover it in the video. I cover every single one of these. I've never missed one, though I do have a bit of a backlog. Okay, so these were submitted sort of mid-December. We're now mid-January, so I am working on a sort of 4 or 5 week backlog, but I will try to get through it. Okay, so do keep sending them in. Don't forget to shop at KendoStar, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.